My name is Dr. Tracy Fanara, research scientist and environmental engineer. At Mote Marine Laboratory, I use investigation and experimentation to answer questions. Over 8 million tons of plastic waste enters our oceans every year. That's like 1.33 million elephants worth of trash in our ocean. How does that plastic get there? Are people actually throwing it into the water? Well, not likely. As we're seeing here, there's all this plastic waste that's thrown all over the land, and every single drop of rain in the state of Florida goes to a natural water body, and so does all that trash on the ground. But why are we just seeing plastic waste everywhere? Why aren't we seeing cardboard or hamburgers or sandwiches? I think we need to do an experiment. Let's go into the lab and see why all we're seeing is plastic. Now we're back at the lab and we want to find out why all we saw out there was plastic. So we're going to compare something like toilet paper to plastic and expose them to conditions that you might see in the natural environment. With climate change, the oceans are warming and the pH is dropping, becoming more acidic. So I used some vinegar and I heated it up to see if we can speed up this degradation process so you're not here all day. Okay, well, I think we've reached a substantially low pH for what we want to do here. It's a pH of around 1. So we're going to put the toilet paper in this flask and the plastic in this one. Now we're going to expose it to these chemicals and see what happens over time to both the toilet paper and the plastic. So now they're exposed, and we're going to give it just a little bit of time. And in the ocean, we have currents, we have waves, we have interaction. So we're going to stir this up a little bit to see if that jumbles anything up or creates that breakdown process. There we go. There we go. Wow, and we can see already that the toilet paper is starting to come apart. So after just a little bit of time, we see that the toilet paper is disintegrating. So not only are these items exposed to environmental conditions, but they're also exposed to microbes that can break down natural or organic materials like toilet paper or food waste, which is why we're not seeing that so much in the natural environment. So let's see what happened with the plastic. Wow. Yep, that is danger because I don't see any degradation whatsoever on this piece of plastic. It is totally fine. Not only does plastic not really break down with increasing temperatures and lower pH, but also those microbes that break things down like toilet paper or food waste can't consume plastic, which is why we see so much in the ocean for so long. So just like all of this plastic that we found outside right by the water, it's going to take a long time to break down. And when it does, because it's not broken down by microbes into nutrients, it's broken down into little particles called microplastics. Now, microplastics persist in the environment and are eaten by little organisms like little fish, and then are eaten by bigger organisms and eventually come to us. So now we know that even when plastic degrades, it turns into millions of little particles that impact the ecosystem and the food chain from the ground up, eventually affecting our health. So you might think that all this plastic can be easily recycled, but in fact, only a few types can, and it's always downcycled. The best thing that you can do is reduce the amount of plastic in the environment by eliminating or reducing single-use waste. That's plastic that you only use once. Remember guys, anyone could be a scientist or an engineer with some passion, hard work, and an innate curiosity of how the world works. Now, let's go pick up some trash.